Hi everyone, it's Rosanna from Balanced Path, and today I have with me Brad Yates, who is known internationally for his creative and often humorous use of emotional freedom technique, or EFT for short. Brad is the author of the best-selling children's book, The Wizard's Wish, the co-author of the bestseller Freedom at Your Fingertips, and a featured expert in the film The Tapping Solution. He has also been a presenter at a number of events, including Jack Canfield's Breakthrough to Success, has done teleseminars with the Secret Stars Bob Doyle and Dr. Joe Vitale, and has been heard internationally on a number of radio talk shows. Brad also has over 1,200 videos on YouTube. You heard that right, 1,200. And those have been viewed over 50 million times, and I am a viewer. So welcome, Brad, and thank you for joining us to talk about emotional freedom technique, or EFT for short. We're going to call it EFT from now on.
Thank you, Rosanna. And a lot of us just call it tapping
Yeah.
because we are, for those of you who are new to it, we are literally tapping with our fingertips on our face. And if you're new to it, I know it sounds a little weird, but stick with us. It's
Yeah.
worth
It's worth it. Yes, absolutely. And so let's start with that then, Brad. Can you explain what EFT is for those viewers who are unfamiliar with the technique, and just explain what EFT is?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Why are we tapping on our face?
right.
So, emotional freedom techniques is based on acupuncture. So, for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians.
Mhm.
And when the energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well being. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. We don't think as clearly. We don't make the best choices. There's all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So, in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick needles in these key points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy.
Mm,
And now we're just using our fingertips to tap and stimulate those in the same way. And we have an abundance of modern scientific research validating this process, primarily as a stress relief technique. But when you realize that most, if not all, of the issues that bother us, both physically and emotionally,
mhm,
are either caused by or at least worsened by stress, then you can see that a simple stress relief technique like this can be beneficial in so many ways.
mhm. Absolutely, yeah. And so how did you discover EFT?
So I started as an actor, actually.
Oh.
Traveled the world as a theater, went to Hollywood to be a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, met a woman, fell in love, and got married. And when our first kid was on the way, I thought I might need a backup career.
That's smart.
I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV, Days of Our Lives, but not enough to support a family.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
were you a Days fan?
I wasn't, but my sister was. And
Okay.
yeah, is it still around? I don't even know if
I
it's still
believe it
around.
is. It
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So yeah, I helped save Sammy's life.
Wow.
She might remember that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll ask her. Okay.
Yeah,
We're digressing.
but anyhow, so while looking for something else that I might do that would be interesting, I saw an ad for a hypnotherapy school. And I thought, oh, always been interested in the power of the mind. Let's do that.
Mhm.
Went through the training, did clinical hours, and started building a small practice while still pursuing my acting career. And then after a couple more years went by and our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, this is what I was here for. This is like, oh, personal development work. This is my calling. This is what I'm
Wow.
supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
So we moved from Southern California up to Northern California to be close to our families. And through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology conference and this guy named Gary Craig teaching a technique called EFT. And I thought, I'm game, you know.
Yeah.
And in my time as an actor, one of the things I had done was I went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. So this was not the strangest thing I'd ever done. So I may have been a little more open-minded than the average Joe when when being introduced to this.
Right.
So I found it fascinating, especially when he had us tapping on chocolate cravings. And I went from being a chocoholic to not being able to eat chocolate for 2 years after just a
Wow.
couple of minutes of tapping.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and so I didn't know at that point that I wouldn't eat chocolate for 2 years, but I just knew at that moment that the piece of candy that I had in my hand that I was having a hard time not eating, I could not eat after the tapping. So I'm like, wow, there's something interesting about this. So
Yeah.
after the conference, when I got home, I started just trying this out on clients. Do a traditional hypnotherapy session. And then I'd say, we got a few more minutes. I just want to show you this little thing I've been playing with. And really liked the way that it worked and how I was able to work with it. And so little by little, it became the main technique. I'm still doing a little hypnotherapy, still
Hmm.
do guided imageries enjoy doing that for folks, but tapping became my main modality.
Wow. And so how does it work? Like,
So the basic theory originally was that we were just clearing up disruptions in the energy system.
mhm,
Now there are a number of theories. As of yet, it's nothing has come through where it's like, okay, it's definitively not that, it's not that, it's definitely this.
mhm,
But there are a lot of theories about how when we're tapping, we're tapping on key points, and they have measured these points to find that it's not just any random place on the body. These are places that have lower electrical resistance
mhm,
than other places. And when we tap, it creates a phenomenon called piezoelectricity. The compression sends a bioelectrical signal to the brain,
okay.
and it's a calming signal. So it calms down the fight or flight response. So when the amygdala in our midbrain perceives threat,
Mhm,
it puts us into fight or flight. Sometimes it's very mild, and sometimes it's extreme. But when that happens, our prefrontal cortex, our highest functioning part of our brain,
mhm,
goes bye bye. So we're not thinking as clearly. We're
right.
not making the best choices. We're now operating out of instinct and old patterns, bad habits.
Mhm,
So I'm feeling upset. I need to go and eat a box of cookies.
right.
That's really not going to help. Shut up. That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
So we go into that primal mind. So the tapping calms down the nervous system.
Mhm,
So going into the fight or flight is the sympathetic nervous system.
mm,
The parasympathetic nervous system is when we get the all clear. It's like, all
okay.
right, everything's fine. You can all go back to your homes. Nothing more to see here. And so the tapping expedites that process so that we then feel safe. So when we're looking to make any changes, whether it's changes in our health or
Mhm,
changes in our career, in our finances, anything that looks different, we might say, I want it to be different. I want this. But our brain perceives that as change, which it
mhm,
perceives as a threat. It's a
right.
threat to our homeostasis, to our well-being. So we have a stress response that often stops us from taking those actions.
Mhm,
If we're trying to get in better shape and we know that we should exercise, I just don't know why I'm sitting on the couch watching, a 15th episode of Friends. And, I know that I really want to work out because I have old programming about why it's not safe to get into better health
right.
or whatever it might be. And so when I try to make that change, there's a stress response, and it may be very subtle,
Mhm,
but it can stop me. So the tapping helps us to calm down that stress response. And then we start to say, oh, actually, I could handle that. It
mhm,
would be okay. And even in terms of health, a lot of times it's an identity thing, especially if we've had a chronic issue for a long time.
mhm,
It's like, oh, well, I'm this person who has this thing.
right.
I'm Brad who's got the, whatever ailment. And people all know because, whenever I go out to a party, it's like, oh, I'm going to have to leave early because I've got to, take my
Right.
medication or whatever. And it's like, if I don't have that, people are gonna be like, have you been replaced by a clone? What's going on
Right.
here?
They might treat you differently, or
Yeah.
we use it as a crutch almost, right? And
We can,
yeah.
absolutely. And it gets us out of things sometimes. Sometimes there's
Hmm.
secondary gain. And for anyone listening who has a health issue, please do not hear me as accusing you going, yeah, 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 you're faking it to get out of things. That's not what I'm saying at
Hmm.
all.
No.
There may be an aspect of that. So my thing is always, I don't want to blame the victim. I do want to say at least look at it, because if that's it, it
Hmm.
would be a shame to miss out on greater freedom because my ego couldn't handle the possibility that that I might actually have something to do with this.
Yeah. I had a colleague many years ago, and she was on the heavier side. And she admitted, she said, I'm not ready to lose some of my body, like to lose my fat, because she felt comfortable. And, you get
It's
to that,
safe to have that
it's
armor.
safe. Exactly. Yeah. 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 So what types of emotional and physical issues can EFT address?
It would be a shorter list to say what it couldn't.
Okay.
And that's
So,
not to say it's a magic bullet panacea kind of, but again, going back to the idea that most, if not all, of the issues are caused by or worsened by stress,
mhm,
then we can see we can gain benefits with almost anything. Because I was doing a workshop for a breast cancer support group once. And I said, look, I am not going to make any claims about, oh, we're going to tap away all the cancer.
right. Yeah.
What I'm going to say is, there are a lot of things you're going through right now.
Hmm.
Probably a lot of fear. There may be sadness. There may be guilt about physical limitations. It's like, I'm just too tired to cook for the kids,
Hmm.
or whatever it might be, and feeling guilty. And it's like, so that's all energy that could go towards your healing. But we're so busy dealing with all these emotional issues, and it's like we can clear those emotional blocks so that you
Hmm.
can look at it and say, "Oh, I don't need to feel guilty about this. Hey, kids, sorry I can't cook tonight. I'm feeling really tired. Hopefully, you can be supportive of that. If not, I'm going to be okay because I'm going to choose to feel as good as I can because I
Right.
have bigger things to deal with right now."
Yeah. So it's taking care of yourself first, that old, take care of
Oxygen mask
yourself
on
so
your
that
face first.
exactly. Yeah. I love
If I
that
had a nickel for every
analogy.
time I use that metaphor.
Me too. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And so what are some of the misconceptions? Because I'm sure, and I want you to I want a demonstration
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
audience. Yeah, but can we talk about some of the misconceptions out there before we do that?
Yeah, well, first is a lot of people go, "Oh, it's so woo-woo." And it's like, okay, we have this, it's built into our system. We're
Yeah.
stimulated. It's like the Heimlich maneuver. Is that woo-woo?
Hmm.
Or breathing or anything else? There are some people who find that it's messing, it's against God or something like that.
Yeah.
And someone said, because it glorifies chi. I said, who told you that? I mean, is breathing glorifying oxygen? Is the
Hmm.
circulatory system glorifying blood? I mean, come on. No, it's just you're just using your body's natural system that was
Right.
made for us by however you define the creator. So, and people are doing the best they can. I don't want to come across as judgmental for people who have their resistance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but it's based on misinformation.
Yeah.
And people say it's placebo effect. I don't know that there's a way that we can actually measure whether something's placebo effect or not, because everything, there are people who argue that everything is consciousness, in
Hmm.
which case any pill you take is any surgery, whether it works or not, is depending on the placebo or the nocebo effect.
Right.
I mean, at that level. But I always say to folks, it's gonna work whether you believe it's going to work or not. You just have to be willing to believe it enough to do it. If you
Right.
say, I refuse to believe it's going to work, so I'm not going to tap, well, then it's not going to.
Yeah.
So, and if it came down to it and they said, we found out that it is a placebo effect. When people go to do the tapping routine, they feel better. It's just placebo. And I'm like,
Uh,
that's fine.
that's
As
great.
long
What?
as they're getting the result,
That's right.
But if
There's
you're going
nothing
to say
wrong.
it's if I was going to feel better after 5 minutes of tapping and it's just the placebo, why do it? because you'd feel better.
Right? Why not
If you're
do
going to
it?
sit here and go, I'm not going to do it because it's a placebo, then 5 minutes later, you're going to still feel as uncomfortable as you are now. But
Yeah.
hey, if that's a victory for you, Godspeed.
Yeah.
And again, I know it sounds very judgmental, but it's because I just find it amusing that as human beings, and I'm laughing at myself as well as human beings because God knows there are plenty of things where I still have probably have beliefs that are not working for me, and years
Yeah.
from now I'll go, I can't believe I used to think that.
Yeah.
But so those are some of the main things that come up, and then of course just people saying it looks stupid.
Yeah. But
And and it's funny the people that will say they'll be wearing odd outfits or or doing things that I look at and go, okay, that to me just looks crazy.
yeah.
So
But
it's
then
all perception.
do it in your own privacy. Don't do it in front of people.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, Rosanna, so many of us are so insecure. We feel embarrassed doing something,
So
even just
true.
me knowing that I'm doing it. I'm ridiculing myself
Yeah, it's so
because
true.
we've done such a number on ourselves and society's done such a number on us in terms of looking cool
Yes, yeah.
and what you should or shouldn't do, whether anyone's watching or not.
Yeah. I mean, I for one have done it. I mean, I've been tapping for many years now and I feel results. I see results and it's so I can't explain it. You just explained it with the meridian and all that those points. And so now I have a better understanding of it, but it does work. And so what kind of advice can you give somebody who's new to EFT? And maybe, after you explain that, you
We'll
can
go through it. Oh,
go through it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main advice to me that I would give anyone is give it a try. There's no harm in giving it a try.
Yeah.
Um, and which brought up one other misconception is if I don't feel better after 2 minutes of tapping, it doesn't work. So sometimes tapping is like taking a Tylenol. And after a few minutes, if you've got a headache, after a few minutes, the headache's gone,
Hmm.
and we notice a difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes tapping is like taking a vitamin. If I'm consistent with it over time, I'm going to have all kinds of health benefits,
Hmm.
physical and emotional.
Yes.
But nobody has ever taken a vitamin and said, "Oh my goodness, I feel so much vigor.
Right.
Wow, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm so energized." But millions of people take vitamins, religiously,
Hmm.
even though they have never been able to, maybe after years they say, I remember what it was like before I started taking supplements.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's over some time.
Hmm.
And so sometimes people will dismiss tapping because they tap for a few minutes and go, I'm not noticing a difference.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if I could hook you up to a machine and measure things like your cortisol levels, stress hormone, checking immune markers, things like
Your
that,
blood pressure.
yeah,
Yeah.
there would even fMRI scans
Uh-huh.
and watching brain activity,
Yeah.
I could show you that there was a difference. But consciously, you may not be aware of it. You may be
Hmm.
thinking,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm still pretty much the same, even
Yeah.
though some shifts have happened at a subtle level. So that's another one for folks is just yeah, I tried EFT, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it may not have gotten, it's like, yeah, I watched a money video and I didn't
I'm
become a
still poor.
millionaire by the next week.
Yeah.
So obviously tapping doesn't work. Okay, you got me. Yep, it's
Yeah. And I know it's with just going back to your analogy of the vitamins, the supplements. I've noticed that yeah, I'll take supplements and then I'll stop maybe for 2 weeks because something will happen, and then I'll wonder why I feel low or sad or depressed or just non-energetic, and then I'll think, oh yeah, because I haven't been taking my supplements. And it's the same with any type of healing modality. If you're not consistently doing it, you're not going to reap the benefits.
yeah.
And
I encourage people to tap on a daily basis. To me, it's energy hygiene. We have
yeah,
physical hygiene, like brushing our teeth and taking a shower. Most of us don't wait until it's noticeable that we need it. Oh,
right.
people are
Yeah.
holding their nose around. I haven't
Yeah.
taken a shower in 2 weeks.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
there's this green stuff between my teeth. Now I should brush my teeth. No, we do it
No.
before that. So
Yeah.
same with stress. We don't want to wait until, someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" And we blow up at them, and it's like, "Oh, maybe I've had some stress building up for the last."
Right. Yeah.
Get it? Because and all of us are carrying ambient levels of stress, especially because most of us are carrying one of these things
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
constantly telling us, "Hey, did you hear about this? Here's something else to be upset about." And we just take it in stride. We think we're taking it in stride,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's adding stress to the system until it gets to a certain point.
Yeah.
You take a carton of milk and you're sitting outside on a warm day, and you can go back after 5 minutes and take a sip. It's going to taste fine. After, 10, 15 minutes, it's going to taste fine.
Hmm.
Come back a couple hours later,
Yeah.
and you've got cottage cheese. And it's the same with our stress levels.
Hmm.
It's gradual. So we were saying, no, 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 I'm fine. I just watched this horrible news story, but no, 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 I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, no,
It,
there's stuff going on that you're not aware of, and you want to be, calming that down because there's gonna there's gonna be the straw that breaks the camel's back at some point.
yeah.
So keep clearing all the straw off.
It's that silent buildup
Yeah.
that we're just holding on to and it's growing and growing within us. But yeah, I agree. I think, it's like I kind of, like meditating every day. Um, you can even group it together with the tapping because tapping is kind of a form of meditation, is it or not?
It's
Or
yeah, they're both mindfulness practices,
hmm.
and meditation is great. I do certain meditation. It's part of my morning routine.
Hmm.
The challenge is that when you get into a stressful situation, like you have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody or someone cuts you off on the freeway, unless you've been a practicing meditator for about 20 years, you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to say, let me just get zen right now.
Oh, yes. I forgive this
This,
person.
yeah, this doesn't require any, it doesn't need you to get into any place. It'll get you to
Right.
that place, even without words. We're in the demonstration we do, I'm going to use words,
Yeah.
but you can be tapping without words, and the tapping itself will be down regulating your stress system.
Okay,
And
excellent. Okay, so yeah, so if you can demonstrate for us, and yeah,
yeah,
that'll be great.
so the first thing I'm going to do is show you what the basic version of EFT is,
Mhm.
because when I do it, it's kind of a free form thing, and I say all kinds of things. I have no idea what I'm going to say yet. Um, I'll try to keep it clean, but
Okay.
I always do. But when I do it that way, for someone who's new to EFT, they're going, "Wow, that's really complicated. You have to come up with all those different words, and I wouldn't know what to say." It's like, no, you don't." So the very basic version of EFT is you just notice what's going on. Like I feel really stressed out,
Hmm.
or I'm nervous about this meeting later today, or I'm really angry at Bob because Bob's a jerk.
Hmm.
And then I'd rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. How stressed am I? How scared am I? How angry am I? And and then I also try to notice what I'm physically aware of. So yeah, God, I'm really angry at Bob. He just really was an idiot yesterday, and it's probably an 8, and I feel it in my shoulders. My shoulders are really tight. So now I know what I'm dealing with.
Hmm.
And then I'm going to use that, whatever the issue is, as a setup phrase. So I'm going to take the fingertips of our index and middle finger of our dominant hand.
Okay.
Now, the meridians run up and down both sides of the body. So you can tap with both hands at the same time, or you can tap with either hand. In the videos, I only tap on one side because I'm a trained film actor, and this is bad camera technique.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't have any.
one hand does work then. We don't have
Yeah,
to
one
go.
hand is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was tell folks, experiment and see what feels best for you.
Hmm.
I switch back and forth. Sometimes I tap with both hands at the same time, whatever I feel compelled to at that time.
Okay.
It's a very forgiving process. So let go of any fear of getting this right. And so yeah, we're going to take our dominant hand and tap with that, and we're going to tap on the edge of our opposite hand.
Okay.
And this is where we do the setup. So we say, even though I have this issue, I choose to love and accept myself. So even though I feel stressed, even though I'm really angry at Bob, whatever it might be. I choose to love and accept myself.
Okay.
And this is just a statement of self-acceptance because most of the time we are resisting what's going on. Most of
Mhm.
us are prone to use that four-letter F word. Fine. I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
fine. So it's like because we resist the idea there's something going on, and but what you resist persists. So we're saying, even though I have this issue, I choose to love and accept myself. So you say that 3 times just to sort of create an opening for the process.
Okay.
Then we'll tap right here at the beginning of your eyebrow, and either eyebrow,
Okay.
and just gently tap, generally between 5 and 10 times on each of these points, but don't keep count. It's just a rough number. And depending on the phrase that we're saying, it may be longer or shorter. And then we'll repeat the phrase,
Okay.
whatever it is. So all this stress or this anger at Bob. Then we'll follow the eyebrow out to the corner of the eye,
Mhm.
all this stress. Right under the middle of your eye, all the stress. Right under your nose, all the stress. Right under your lower lip, just above your chin, all the stress.
Okay.
Now, right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat.
Mhm.
And you can tap either side there, or you can use all of your fingertips or even your fists and tap that whole area so you get both collarbones, all that stress. Next point is about 4 inches below your armpit. So it's right about bra strap level. And I'm sure even any guys watching this can figure out where that is. All the stress. And then finally, the top of your head. So again, using
Oh,
all of your fingertips and just tapping around the crown of your head. All the stress.
and that feels so good. Just
Yeah.
doing that.
That
Yeah.
massaging the head like that. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of little devices that do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take a deep breath and then you check in again and say, okay, now how stressed am I? Now how angry am I at Bob? And it may go from an 8 to a 0 like that. It happens
Mhm.
sometimes. It may go from an 8 to a 7.75.
Mhm.
And hey, any relief we get is better than nothing.
Right.
There may even be times where the number seems to go up because we're more aware of it. It's not that
Mm.
the tapping made us more upset, but it's like if you had company coming over and you thought, I want to clean my living room, so I want
Hmm.
to impress them. It's already pretty clean. How dirty is it? Oh, maybe a 2 out of 10, but I really want to impress these people. So while cleaning up, you notice, oh, there's dirty laundry under the sofa. And there's dirt that was swept under the rug. What the heck? Now on a scale of 0 to 10, the dirt it's up at a 7.
Yeah.
We wouldn't say cleaning up the room made it dirtier. It's
Right.
like, no, just the effort to clean up the room made us aware of what was already there.
Right.
And we wouldn't have been better off just pretending it wasn't there. So it's like, oh, now I can actually clean that up.
Hmm.
So that's what we're doing. And when we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion. So we're creating a safe space. We're calming ourselves down. And it creates a safe space to be aware of things that we might have been suppressing.
Hmm.
So I might be tapping, oh, I'm so angry at Bob, so angry at Bob. Oh, it's not even Bob. It's Cindy. In the third grade, she pissed me off, and I've never forgiven her. And what Bob did reminded me of that. All this anger at Cindy. And
Hmm.
now, thanks to Bob, I can now clear out something that for decades has been causing me all kinds of issues. Who knows what physical ailments I might have ulcers that were caused by this
Right.
repressed anger at Cindy.
Yeah.
And now I can clean that out, such to the point that, next time I see Bob, I might give him a hug and say, thank you.
Yeah.
He's like, huh?
Yeah.
um, so that often happens when we're going through, and we may change the wording then as we're
Hmm.
going through. So those are just some things to notice. And that's just the basic version of EFT. So you could, you know, go and do that. And of course you can always go and watch a video on YouTube
Hmm. And
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 if you
you,
want
I
to
mean, you
follow
have
that.
1,200 videos, so I'm sure you
At
have
least
one
I
for.
put that as a safe number. I think it may be over 1,500 at this point, but I'm not
So,
sure.
so I mean, I've gone to some of your videos, but I'm sure like you've got videos on a lot of different types of issues, right? And so, um, trauma, chronic pain, like,
Yeah, physical health, emotional health, relationships, finances, career.
okay.
Yeah.
Because what I find is that I do use tapping, but I like your commentary, because sometimes I can't think of those words. And I like that you just said, we don't have to use words, that we can just tap. But I get a lot of comfort, I guess, just listening to the words. And like you're spot on, for any, issue that I go and look and find your videos on. And I find that they help me. Now, when people are doing your videos, because I tend to repeat what you're saying. So is that like you have to repeat, or can I just listen to your voice and
Yes, I will be very hurt if people don't say exactly what I
and
say.
you
I
can hear
worked
us?
very hard on coming up with the no, the words come through me. I don't write scripts. And so, like I said, we're gonna do a real demonstration in a moment, and I have no idea what we'll say.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I make all the videos, is to make it easier. And sometimes I'll watch, colleagues of mine and their videos, but sometimes I'll watch one of mine, even though I had said it maybe 15 years ago when I first
Right.
started.
Yeah.
But it's just sometimes easier just to follow along. So
Yeah.
now I can just enjoy the tapping without trying to think about what's going on. And even if the words aren't necessarily relevant,
Hmm.
then the tapping itself is going to be still down regulating stress. And it's creating an opening such that I will become more aware of what I do need to talk about. And I tell
Right.
people all the time, if you're tapping along to one of my videos and you think, I think I should say this, by all means, go for it.
Hmm.
You're not required to follow the word. These are just the words that come through me. And they're going to be, it's very kind of you to say they're dead on. They're dead on for some people.
Yeah.
And other people let me know. No, that was terrible. The wording was all wrong.
Right.
Oh, okay. For you, if I had to make a video that was right for every 8 billion people, I could never make a video
No, for sure.
because there's
Yeah.
no such thing. So hopefully the idea of the videos is hopefully it creates enough of an opening that you can go, okay, either this is, yes, that's exactly what's going on for me, or this gives me some ideas, and now I can start to get some relief.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
So, Rosanna, what do you want to tap on?
Um, how about letting go? Because I think, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes things happen and it's hard for me to let go. And so that's one thing that I kind of struggle with occasionally. Yeah.
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 Wow. That's really sad. I'm sorry that you are so, yeah. It's so human. It is so human. I actually have it on my list. I have one on letting. I have some on along those lines, but I'm going to do a new one called "Letting Bygones Be Bygones."
Oh,
But that same idea is like
yeah.
so. So let's do this. I'll invite everyone to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, hold it, let it go, and just breathing comfortably. Just allow yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible so as to receive maximum benefit from this time together. And just notice your breath flowing through your body. Allow yourself to be aware of what's going on inside, physically and emotionally. And notice where you might be holding on to stuff from the past. You may have thoughts, beliefs, or memories coming to mind. You may just have a physical sensation. It's like, I don't know what that's about, but there's this tightness in my shoulder or whatever it is. We could argue that any physical discomfort you feel in your body is something you're holding on to from the past. Yeah, I'm going to save this for later. Allow yourself to be curious rather than judgmental. Whatever you're doing or have done, you were doing the best you could at the time. So just getting curious about what might be in there, what you might be holding on to, and being open to knowing why you might be holding on to it, but don't worry about knowing that yet. Just noticing what uh, what leftovers there are that are not that don't lead you to a place of vibrant health and well-being. It's like if we were on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being absolutely vibrant health and well-being, I feel awesome. Notice where you might be and just notice, okay, what keeps me from being at a 10? What are those things that I'm holding on to? What's the baggage I'm still carrying? however you want to phrase that. Baggage can have so much judgment to it. So letting go of any judgment about it, just going, what might I be holding on to? And just notice where that is in your body. Notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how heavy that stuff you're carrying is. And take a deep breath, open your eyes, and just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say. Taking full responsibility for your own well-being. So if you have really upsetting things coming up, you might want to wait till you've got someone there with you. Practice good self-care. It's a very safe process. But again, it's not the tapping that would create that, but as we go looking, it's like, okay, maybe I might need someone present with me to,
Right.
if I lift the rug to find the dirt and, oh, look, there's a barrel of toxic waste. I should have had IPA out here with me. Even though there's stuff I'm holding on to, I choose to love and accept myself. And just to qualify for folks, because I know, Rossana, you're doing it quiet because for the purpose of the video. For everyone else, I'm going to encourage you to say things out loud. It's
Okay.
not necessary. No, you can, because it does make it easier to follow video because it's not jumping back and forth. Um, but sometimes I remember to qualify this ahead of time. But for everyone else, feel free to say it out loud, because when we say it out loud, we tend to be more emotionally engaged, and that gives us more to work with.
Hmm.
But if you're in a place where that's not appropriate, maybe somebody just outside the door,
Yeah.
feel free to do it silently.
Okay.
Even though there are things I'm holding on to, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though there are some things I'm holding on to, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though there are some things I'm holding on to. And Elsa tells me to let it go. Sometimes I make references not everyone gets. It's from Frozen.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just someone commented the other day on a reference I made in a video, and they said, not everyone's going to get those references. So,
It's okay. If you do,
yeah,
you do. If you don't.
some of these jokes are just for me. I'm told to just let it go, but it's so hard to do that sometimes. And even though this stuff is uncomfortable, and it may be so old that it smells bad, and I still can't bring myself to throw it out. And even though I'm still holding on to some things, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And maybe some of the people involved in this thing, because I choose to be that free. All the stuff I'm holding on to, all these old resentments, all these old fears. Maybe it's some embarrassment. Maybe it's guilt or shame. And it's really uncomfortable. And I'd like to let it go. And part of me insists on holding on to it. Not because I'm bad or stupid. Not because I am weak or lazy. It's not that I should compare myself to others, thinking, oh, they can let their stuff go. What's wrong with me that I can't let it go? And instead of beating myself up, which only creates more discomfort, I choose to be compassionate with that part of me. If I'm holding on to something, even though it's uncomfortable, it's because part of me believes that's necessary. Part of me is saying, yes, this is uncomfortable. Yes, it smells bad. But we'd be worse off if we got rid of it. Maybe I think I need to learn a lesson and remember that lesson. Maybe somebody hurt me. And if I didn't hang on to that hurt, I'd go let them hurt me again. I have to remember not to trust Bob anymore. And I'll only do that if I stay good and mad. So I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me that have held on to all of that old stuff, believing that it's protecting me. Now I'm allowing myself to relax and reconsider this strategy. I don't need fear to help me make good decisions. I don't need anger to make me smart. It actually tends to lower my IQ. The angrier I am, the harder it is to think clearly. But I was taught to be angry. I was taught to be upset. I was told I should be upset. And I should hold on to that upset. I was taught by some world champion grudge holders. And I didn't know any better. But all that stuff I'm holding on to that limits my health, wealth, and happiness isn't necessary. If I went into the kitchen as a child, put my hand on a hot stove, it's going to burn. But I don't need to spend the rest of my life with my fingers still hurting to remind me not to touch a hot burner. I can release the pain and retain the message. I don't need to be upset to make good choices. I can be smart even while I'm feeling peaceful. I'm allowing myself to know that. I love and appreciate these parts of me that have refused to let things go. And I'm allowing those parts of me to see it's safe to let it go. All of this discomfort, it's safe to let it go. It's okay for me to feel peace inside. So I'm releasing what doesn't feel like peace. And then I tend to attract better circumstances as I let this go. I'm allowing things to get better and better in body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Close your eyes, go inside, and notice again where you might have been feeling that discomfort from old stuff. And now check on a scale of 0 to 10 how heavy it might be, how uncomfortable it might be. And hopefully that number has come down. For some of you, it may have dropped down to a 0. For some, it may have changed a little bit. And some of you may just be more aware of, oh, now I know what's really upsetting me. Now I know why I think I have to hang on to this. And there may be some other things you need to do to address that because, hey, you may still be hanging out with Bob every day. And it's like, well, I haven't gotten upset enough. So maybe when I'm angry enough, so I definitely can't stop being angry now because he's still there. And apologies to any Bobs that might be on the call. Um, and and allowing yourself to keep processing that and seeing, okay, this isn't working. Maybe as I let this go, he'll just stop showing up.
Brilliant. And so I don't know about the audience, and I think I'm hoping you can agree with me that this really can support us people, everybody, um, especially in managing our stress or emotional health and our emotional health or emotional health. Yeah, it's amazing. I just I feel calmer.
Yeah.
Just yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because we're never, so many times I've done this with someone who and like it's in interviews. So it's not a client who's obviously coming with something, but someone who's, and we're talking ahead of time and
Mhm.
everything's fine. And then afterwards, like, wow, I feel better than I did before. I didn't realize there was anything because we're not aware of that ambient stress. And that's why
Yeah,
I recommend on a daily basis, don't wait until you're aware of it. Don't put keep don't put the toothbrush away until the stuff's growing between your teeth and you can see it.
right. Yeah.
Use it on a daily basis ahead of time as a preventative thing. And there are plenty of times where I have been in a perfectly fine mood, but like I'll be on a long drive and I'll go, "Oh, I'm just gonna take this time to tap on different things,
Hmm.
and I just get into these, feeling so good. It's like, wow, this feels awesome. Because so you can see I've got Michelangelo's David back there on the
Yes.
wall. I have David's everywhere because Michelangelo said the statue is there perfect inside the marble already. All I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the
Hmm.
masterpiece that's inside. And to me, that I use the David as my logo because it's the perfect metaphor for what we're doing. Our best, healthiest, happiest, most successful self is already there inside. They're covered up with marble that's
Right.
doubt and fear and shame and unworthiness and whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And as we chip it away, we find that version. It's like, I feel awesome. My life is great. I'm so excited about, oh, and I have all these ideas about how I want to share my gifts and talents,
Yeah.
which is why I do this work, is because I want people sharing their gifts and talents to make the world a better place.
Hmm.
So thank you to everyone who's willing to play along and clear whatever might be stopping you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm one thing that I guess I want to just bring to everybody's attention, and you can, you know, support this, is that when you're doing it for the first time, maybe you might become very emotional. You might cry. You'll feel really sad. And to me, that means that, yeah, there's something there that I have to get rid of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And again, good self-care. If you find I'm uncomfortable dealing with this emotion right now, I'm going to wait until I've got someone there to support me.
Hmm.
It may be a friend, it may be a therapist, it could be another EFT practitioner, someone who can guide you through it so that you're not just in there. Because there's some places we probably shouldn't go on our own.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
so it's allowing yourself to be aware of, okay, I can handle this and not handle this,
Hmm.
and break it up. I know that was a relatively long round. If it's the first time you're tapping, I in live workshops or with clients sometimes I'll do a tapping around because as the words are coming through and I'm picking up the energy of the person I'm working with or the group.
Hmm.
something saying, no, now you got to say this, now you got to say this.
Right.
And so I may go on 20, 30 minutes or something like that. But if you're new to it, it's like, that was a lot of tapping.
Right. Yeah.
So feel free to break it up. People ask me, could you make a shorter version of this video? And I said, I could, or you could just stop the video
That's
right
right. Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we know our own emotional state, our well-being. So yeah, we should stop when it's too much and seek help when we know that we need the help. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Yeah,
no, if we didn't need anybody, then the creator wouldn't have put more than one person on the planet.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Adam, you're on your own. You're good. Yeah. Um, so that's
Yeah. Well, you know what? So you have showed us how, integrating EFT into our wellness routine is so beneficial. And so if there were three tips that or takeaways that you could leave us with, what would it be? Or what would they be?
free is such a complicated, it's so many things to remember. I'm just going to give
Okay.
you just one. Tap, give it a try. Ideally on a daily basis. Uh, Myself and many of my friends and colleagues have created videos so that you don't have to think about it. So you can just go on YouTube
Hmm.
and follow along. You can just sit there in the morning and you can tap while saying prayers or affirmations or tap silently. You don't wait until there's something obvious. I tap first thing in the morning. It's not that I wake up in a bad mood and go, even though I woke up on the wrong side of the bed
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, okay, I just want to be as clear as possible so I can
Mm,
have as good a day as possible. And I have a series of prayers that I say, affirmations that I say, and sometimes just tapping silently. It's like, okay, because you can't hurt it. It's not like with you if your kitchen sink or your kitchen counter, you usually don't only clean it when there's a spill.
right. Yeah.
You can't you're unless you're using really harsh abrasives and sponges, you're not going to over clean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna, clean it on a daily basis, before I can see the stains, and I'm not going to overdo it. So, there's no harm in doing a few minutes of tapping
Yeah.
if you're not feeling any discomfort. It's like, and you may find, wow, I thought I was feeling fine, but I feel even better now. And
Hmm.
ideas will come into your mind that you might have been resisting
Yeah.
about how to make things even better because some party might be resisting that and going, no, no, you're not ready. And I love that you said earlier about ready because
Hmm.
that's another one for me is the readiness is all. Um, and
Yeah.
so there are parts of it that say, you're not ready for that big idea. Tap, tap. Oh, I think you're ready for it now. Call this person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you're also, by doing it first thing in the morning, you're kind of setting the tone for the day, because it is such a stress reliever. And like you
Yeah.
said, I mean, some of us do wake up stressed, I guess, first thing because
Too many of us. Yeah.
as soon as our eyes open, our mind is going to our busy day.
Yeah.
Um,
Crap. I'm still here.
right.
All that stuff that I didn't want to deal with yesterday is still going to be there.
It's good. You're right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love when you said, yeah, when you're driving, because, there are a lot of people who are on the road a lot of the time. And yeah, why not just do that tapping and bring that stress level down? And so when somebody does cut you off, you might say,
Let it go.
let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. Or get upset, chase them down, cause an accident, or, ruin your insurance. And,
Right.
hey, whatever works. It's either or.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that we get into that mood because we take it personally, even though that person's not even aware of us. And it's just like,
They're not
hey,
even
I'm gonna
thinking about what they did, right? And yeah.
that it's not like they're sitting on the side of the road like, now you're there. I'm gonna get you. I've been waiting all day for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so just thinking, I try to get to a place of I want to clear whatever isn't love inside of me,
Yeah.
so I can just send this person love because they think they look like they need it.
Yes. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
that person's whenever someone's upsetting us, whatever they're doing out of a love deficiency. So we can't get angry enough at them
No.
to
Yeah.
solve that. They're not going to become better because we hate them for what they're doing.
Right.
So it's trying to, as much as possible, obviously, if they're doing harm, we want to do what we can to protect ourselves and
Of
others.
course. Yeah.
This is not, oh, I'm sending them love while they're sitting there and, lighting fire to a building or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, but just looking and going, okay, I want to get to a place where I'm just trying to send them love and I want to clear what doesn't feel like love in me so that I just feel really good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I want to feel awesome. Why am I giving that person permission to rob me of that? My health, wealth, and
Definitely.
happiness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a great day unless somebody else decides to ruin it,
You're
because
giving your
everybody else has
power.
more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're giving your power away
Yeah.
to
Please
somebody who,
don't.
yeah, who's not even worth, yeah, they don't think twice about it. And
Because they're so busy with their own stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Choose
God.
to have an awesome life.
Yeah. Because that's
Tapping
what
helps.
fundamentally, that's what we all want. We want to have an awesome life. We want to be healthy. We want to be emotionally well, physically well. And you know what? Like every little bit helps. And yeah, but we have to want it. We have to want it.
Well, and it's recognized that we have counter intentions.
Yeah.
Again, going back to whatever old stuff that you're not letting go of, you're saying, I want to let it go. But
Hmm.
another party says, no, I don't want to let it go. I'm afraid of letting it go.
There's that
So we
tug
have
of
this
war.
this balance. So, we talk about
Yeah.
willpower. Yeah, but we also have won't power. I
Yes.
have my
Oh, I
reasons
like
why I
that.
will do something and why I won't do something. My why, Simon Sinek says, find your why.
Yes.
Okay, but I also have a why not. And if I'm
Right.
not taking action, and we'll say, oh, I'm just lazy. No, it's just that your why not is bigger than your why at the moment.
Hmm.
And we're thinking, I did a video recently, sometimes just little quick videos where I'm walking through the park and I'll say,
Hmm.
you don't need more motivation. For whatever your health things may be, it's like, oh, I need to get on an exercise routine. I need to be walking more. I need to change the way I eat. I'm
Hmm.
just not doing it. I'm just not motivated. I call BS. You don't need more motivation. You need less resistance.
Right. Yeah.
There is resistance to exercise. If you needed more motivation, it may not be your actual goal because you may be saying, I should be going to the gym for 3 hours and pumping iron and I should have these muscles like that. It's like, but why?
Hmm.
Unless you are an action star in a superhero movie, you probably don't need to, be straining your t-shirt or
Right.
whatever with your muscles.
Yeah.
So it's finding out what is the appropriate level for the health and well-being for me to live the life that I want to live. You know,
Yeah.
I look at places I want to travel to and I look at hikes up hills. It's like I want to have the energy to be able to hike up that hill. I like
Absolutely.
being able to go. We were in Rome. We walked for 13 miles one day in
Hmm.
Rome. I want to be able to have the stamina to do that. I
Absolutely.
don't need to run back to back marathons. That's not my want. It's fine if it is for someone else.
Hmm.
I don't have the motivation for that, and I'm not sitting here going, I just don't have the motivation to run back to back.
Okay.
That's not a problem for me.
Great. Yeah.
But if I'm not getting out and doing a daily walk or something like that, then there's resistance because
Hmm.
that is a goal. Being healthy enough is a goal. And if I'm not doing it, it just means I have resistance. So the tapping is a great way to address that resistance
Hmm.
and look at why might I be doing that? Like with your friend, I'm afraid of having less weight. And
Hmm.
there could be all kinds of things of I don't want the unwanted attention. I'm afraid of, whatever it might be.
So many reasons. Yeah.
So many reasons. So
Yeah.
we keep clearing those reasons
Yeah.
to the point where it's like I have plenty, if there's no more why not, the why is going to win.
Right. Yeah.
If there's no won't power, the willpower is going to win every time, as
I
long as
love
there's
that.
nothing it's fighting against.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, because we're all different and we all have different whys. And, I think maybe even just with the social media around, we see everybody around us. I know we can't even go there, right?
Social
That's a whole
media.
that's a whole topic on its own, but it's,
Yes, I just unfollowed 300 people on Instagram the other day. It's like I'm tired of going. my day's going fine. Let me let someone else decide how I should feel now.
Right. Yeah.
That's
And
insane.
we get caught up in that, don't we? And it's like, no, you know what? Like, I'm not going to be this person. I'm me. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna do things that work for me. And
yeah.
yeah. And that it takes a while, especially being in a business and, in our line of work where, I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm a newbie. So you know, 3 years ago when I first started my business, I was watching everybody else and I thought, well, why can't I be like that? And why can't I be? And, I just, you get caught up in it until you think, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to get rid of everything around me and just concentrate on me. And
Comparison is the thief of
oh,
joy.
oh my gosh. Yeah. And that was something that I had to tap on. So yeah, I'm glad that.
I had to tap on that. I have a fairly sizable YouTube channel,
Mhm.
but I'm nowhere near some YouTube channels that have millions of subscribers.
Yeah.
And I could sit there and I could go, "Oh, fine," and it's just like, why do I have to do that? If I had one subscriber and I was helping that person live a better life, that
Absolutely.
would be enough.
Yeah.
It's not it. I want to be of service to as many people as possible,
Hmm.
but how much is enough? Whatever number we come up with is totally arbitrary,
Yeah.
based on old misunderstandings, ours or other people's. Tap, 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 tap. Let
Yeah.
it go. Go.
Yeah.
I'm just here to show up, and I'll leave the numbers up to God, however, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
My grandfather always used to say, don't look at others, like, just look at yourself. It's that mirror work, right? Where, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're working on you because that's who you can control. You can't control anybody else. You can't control how you're going to compete with others, or you can't control if you're going to, overpass people. And so it's just work on yourself. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. And have
Wow.
fun with it, because why
Yeah.
not? As long as you're here, enjoy the ride.
Life is too short. But thank you so much, Brad. This has been like I love the topic, and I loved all the things that we discussed, and how EFT can help us and how we can be proactive. And it is a proactive approach
Yeah,
to our well-being, emotionally, physically, even cognitively. And I love it because it's a non-invasive and practical modality that what we can all use, and we can use it at any time. So I really thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
no,
Um,
my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for everyone who's been watching and tapped along with us, because your well-being benefits others.
Absolutely, yeah. And to the audience, if you have any questions, or you want to share your experiences, maybe you've had experiences with EFT, please leave a comment down below. And if you're interested in exploring more about EFT, consider reaching out to Brad. And I'm going to have all of his contact information down below in the description. And so again, Brad, it was a pleasure. Um, and thank you all for watching. Love having you around. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more wellness content, because we do want to share and spread the word of all these wonderful modalities that, we can do to make us healthier. All right. Thanks, Brad. See you all next time on The Balanced Path. Bye for now.